All right, what's up, everybody, and welcome to What Up, Secular America, featuring your host, Wolf King. We're just going to talk about some random news topics really quickly, starting with, let's see, something about, oh yeah, this crazy David Dobbenmeyer fucker who says that public schools are spiritually raping children. Okay, that's
The education of the children is paramount. The Christian education of the children is paramount to a culture. It's essential to passing our values to the next generation. Why can't we get godly people, Christians and pastors, to understand the importance of putting money not into plasma TVs and praise and worship, but into the education of children? What's wrong with us? Why can't we see this? This need to be able to do this. Why can't we? I don't know. What's going on is the raping, the spiritual raping of children. So, whoa, coach, that's pretty harsh words. What is it? See, when we think of rape, we think of sex. You know, rape doesn't always have to do with sex. That he raped her. Have you ever heard of somebody coming in and said, well, that guy came in and he just raped that company? Or he came in and, man, he raped the foundation right out from under those people. They didn't even know it. We're having spiritual rape take place right in front of us, and the churches don't even recognize it.
I might have to go in there one day and troll the fuck out of this dude. I gotta find out his schedule, but this is just insanity.
And aren't doing anything to alter it. This is big, man. This is big. Better for you to put a millstone around your neck, I say, than to allow your children to be taught that homosexuality is normal. And that two men can get married and two women can get married. To expose that to a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10, I don't know if there's anything much more wicked. That's rape. That is spiritual rape.
And that is the words of an insane schizophrenic. Like, what the fuck? So if their education isn't completely centered around religion and fundamentalism, it's spiritual rape. Okay, that's lovely. Absent of it being real rape, I doubt it's going to change. I doubt separation of church and state is actually going to dissolve as a principle of our country. But all right, yeah, you talk your insane superstitious bullshit, and we actually deal with facts and evidence. That's all I gotta say about that. I might have to check on his schedule to see if I can go in there and fuck with him, troll him a little bit just for laughs. Okay, so what else we got? Okay, we got some preacher guy talking about liberals are waging spiritual warfare. Okay.
Democrats hate us, and Republicans and Christians better wake up, because there's a spiritual warfare going on, and it's primarily coming from the left, and it's coming from a spirit that is manifesting there. They can't stand Trump. They won't live with him. They will fight him everywhere. They're even in Europe. They're doing graphics, and German magazines coming out with, and American magazines coming out with assassination photographs. This is unthinkable. This has been done to President Obama. It would have been the outrage of the week. But the left is crazy. Remember this. Just remember this, because I'm going to start educating people. Liberals you'll never see a happy liberal.
Okay, wait a minute.
Liberals are always protesting something. They are the essence of discontent. Never happy. And politicize everything. Two things about liberals that I've observed that I never knew before is that the more liberal you are, the more miserable you are. The more liberal you are, the more you politicize everything, from a football game to a Thanksgiving meal to an Academy Award. Because liberalism in its most extreme form is a religion. It's a fanaticism. It's like a jihad.
Now, I remember watching this in The Office this week, and I just thought to myself, what fantastic mental projection. Liberals are miserable and they politicize everything. Yeah, this comes from the side that took Lady Gaga's Super Bowl performance and called it satanic, and that's somehow a thing that's somehow coherent, that makes sense in their minds. Um, well, here's the thing: I wouldn't say our side is exactly perfect. I mean, with the SJWs, they could be meddlesome and hard to actually, discipline and control. But in terms of their denial of freedom of speech, for the most part, we're pretty lean back. We're not telling people who they can marry. We're not telling people what they can do with their bodies. We're not telling people what they can learn in school. We're not doing that. It's really the religious right that attempts to actually undergo this control and subjugation of people through their religious faith. And for the most part, let's just look at that one thing they said. Liberalism is fanaticism. It's a religion. It's a secular philosophy. It's all about applying ideas uh, on a societal level through science and reason and technology. Actually measuring practical ideas and applying them to society for the betterment of the human condition. Uh, there's no fanaticism in that. There's no dogma in that. I mean, that is the very philosophy that helps makes our society great in the first place. That's completely human. It's not this superstitious religious evil thing. I mean, that all of this you get on the Christian Taliban side, and this fuckwit is basically perpetuating that. All right, but on to the next video. All right.
All right, Kathy says, my daughter, who is 14, seems to have an infatuation with dark things. She likes horror movies and wants to wear black lipstick and clothing and seems to be attracted to people with little or no morals. When I try to talk to her about God or living a moral lifestyle, she gets a look of aggravation on her face. I fear that demons are working on her. She also has an anxiety disorder and I believe depression. I just don't know what to do. Should I try and talk with her about my concerns or give it to God and pray?
I think you better give it to God and pray, but I think you better bind the spirits that are there. They have the term goth, and she's dressing the goth, and it's a whole fashion thing. And but this is demonic, and she needs to be delivered. So you're not going to talk her out of it. You've got to pray her out of it. And I suggest that you begin to rebuke Satan. Bind the power of evil and the forces of evil, and bind Satan and the forces of evil, and say, I command you to leave my daughter. That's what you need to do. And if you need some more people to pray with you, by all means, get it.
Yeah, I really doubt how some kid being themselves, I doubt that's really evil or satanic or whatever. Just being an individual, yeah, that doesn't seem really all that detrimental. All right, I mean, and I'm not really surprised that a young teenager in this generation of millennials are going to be non-religious. I mean, with the rise of science and technology, it's not really surprising to see more people that just aren't into religion as a thing. All right, what else we got? Okay, I think this is going to be the last story because I got somewhere to be.
Here's the thing of revolution. I'm convinced if we as a church would have stood up, Lord says it all the time, against taking Bible out of the school, taking
1953,
scriptures,
the Bible, yeah, the
prayer,
right? And I was first grade.
but one woman,
And then
I met that woman.
1973, Roe versus Wade. And
She
I asked Jim many times, where was the church?
Here's the thing.
Didn't the church come together and stand up against
if they all use the Constitution to why they all can march in the street and why they're all able to burn things down. I'm not saying burn anything down, but they all say, well, the Constitution's give us this right. Why didn't we say we're not going to let it happen? We could have stopped it. We really could have stopped it. But they have sold us a bill of goods, and we're peaceful people as Christians. And so we have let them And it's gotten to the point where the church, honestly, I met too many intelligent people that are on the inside that know if we hadn't had a change of presidents and leadership, the church is already dissolving, but there would have been almost a destruction, total end of the church, or at least it would have been pretty well underground this year we're in right now. It's time that the church say, no, you can't take our freedom of speech. How can we be that dumb that we are in the pulpit? We're supposed to be orators. We're supposed to speak. And we're letting him tell us that we cannot speak the word of God that is the foundation of our ministries and our denominations and everything we stand for. But we let them con us. And I'm just saying, people, don't sit down, keep standing. Because I believe God has the harvest.
Okay.
Whether it's about abortion or it's about Trump's misogynistic handling of women.
Oh, yeah.
They all had different opinions. Now listen to this. When Paul was in Ephesus, see what I believe is happening is there was a deliverance of the nation from the spirit of witchcraft in the Oval Office. The spirit of witchcraft was in the Oval Office. It was about to intensify to a higher level demon principality. And God came along with a wrecking ball, shocked everyone. The church.
They're like a wrecking ball. Came in like a wrecking ball, actually, more like. But yeah, this is a bunch of bullshit. Yeah, so they're reacting to the Women's March on Washington, the fact that they can't be religious everywhere they want, every place they want, every time. Yeah, because ultimately we are a secular nation. You can be religious. We don't give a fuck about you being religious, just as long as you keep it out of politics, keep it out of schools and businesses that aren't whole, for the most part, religious are fucking insane. You can believe in spirits, demons, your World of Warcraft for adults and all that shit. And leave the science, leave the business, leave the facts and evidence, leave that in the real world with the rest of us. All right, so we got one more story, and this is it.
Mr. Speaker, this is Fatima. She is not a terrorist. They plan to bring her from their home in Iran to Portland, Oregon, to one of the best hospitals for pediatric heart surgery. That's where Fatima's uncle and grandparents all live. They're U.S. citizens. But it is heartbreaking and disgraceful that this even happened. I hope the courts invalidate this unconstitutional executive order soon, and I hope it's in time for baby Fatima.
And thankfully it was. The dumbass Trump executive order was stopped just in time so that little Fatima can get her open heart surgery. And that tons of families that were split apart as a result of this ban was reunited once again on American soil. But see, that's exactly why a lot of Trump's policies and laws will fail, because they're not really based on evidence or anything like that. They're just based on what he feels at the time, just his own bravado and shit like that. So I'm not really surprised that that failed just as well as his plan for the wall seems very difficult, including the fact that it cost $21.6 billion. So I doubt. I wonder where we're actually going to get that. I doubt it's going to be Mexico, probably the American taxpayer, and there's no real consensus on what to do with Obamacare, even though the tax credits benefit the individual paying for it, and basically the 24 million Americans insured on it have that basic access, as opposed to without it. But yeah. That's the end of my video. This has been Wolf King's What Up Secular America. If you like this video, you know what to do. And peace out. Later.